Imagine you were at an outdoor wedding. It was a sunny day, everyone was in their finest, and out of nowhere, a military plane flies over, drops a bomb on all of the children at the wedding, kills them instantly. A second bomb is dropped, and at this point, body parts are already flying, people are screaming, running. The second bomb takes out most of the women in the bridal party, and the third bomb comes and takes out the bride. All in all, 47 people are wiped out. Imagine this happened in Willmar, Minnesota. Willmar, Minnesota would be all over the news, right? We would be absorbed in the victims' lives. We would want to hear their stories. The news would be 24/7, Willmar, Minnesota, all the way across the country, because 47 people killed in a tragic event like that it's more people than were killed in Virginia Tech or the Oregon school shooting. That's an actual example. So that happened, that was the 6th of July in 2008. It was the Dabala wedding in Afghanistan, and the United States military hit that wedding. How would you feel about a military if we found out that it was Egypt? Wouldn't we, as a nation, feel a collective rage towards Egypt and expect to respond with the strongest show of military force possible? But it wasn't an isolated event. We have taken out 8 weddings since 2001. 9/11 didn't happen in a vacuum. That was a response to U.S. foreign policy. The victims of terrorism, those are just cowardly acts against the people who didn't even perpetrate the sins to begin with. But it creates enemies simply by making them victims. The CIA coined the term blowback. What they refer to is the unintended consequences of our actions in the rest of the world. We seem to think that it's just because, like George Bush said, he said, well, they hate us for our freedom. We have been propping up dictators, taking them down, arming rebels. ISIS was our creation. They had nothing. They were the rebel group. What ends up happening? Arms always end up in the wrong hands. We pick winners and losers all over the world, and it ends up biting us in the butt. France was participating in airstrikes on Syria. You can't do these things in a vacuum. There was an Intercept study done recently that found that of the 2,500 drone strikes that have taken place since President Obama took office in 2009, we've killed innocent people, so not the intended target, 90% of the time. Just in Iraq and Syria, this most recent campaign, we've conducted 5,700 airstrikes, and it's been estimated that we've killed 450 civilians. Does that make us look like the good guys? That's a lot of disgruntled family members and friends. How enraged does it make you when a school shooting happens here? Well, imagine if the perpetrator of that school shooting was a nation. Imagine if it was another nation's military. How would we feel if China bombed a school and said, oh, sorry, but we're really here to help. That was an accident, and I'm sure you understand. And yet these sort of things are happening all the time, and it's like we expect them not to have a response. It's like we expect them not to have human emotions, not to experience rage, not to experience the things that we would experience. If you look at situations like Abu Ghraib and the total number of casualties that we are racking up with drone strikes, military airstrikes, we are in the business of creating terrorists. Imagine when we take out a wedding, how much sympathy that develops for Al-Qaeda, because we appear to be the great Satan. Granted, they are responsible for their actions, but do you blame them for coming to those conclusions? What conclusions would you come to? So we have to take responsibility for our own foreign policy, and not to recognize that, to think that they're just operating in a vacuum because they were born evil is ignorant. I come out with new videos on Wednesdays. Leave your comments and questions below. If you like, please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.